Hey, what's up guys? In this video, I'm gonna be talking about what my thoughts are on all these camera companies releasing so many mirrorless full frame sensor models into the industry, especially like the Nikon, Canon, Panasonic, and even still Sony releasing those full frame mirrorless cameras. Right after this. Hey, what's up guys, and welcome into the video. On this channel, we talk landscape photography. So if you're into landscape photography at all, consider subscribing to this channel. Now, in this video specifically, I'm gonna be talking about a lot of the cameras that are coming out with full frame mirrorless models that landscape photographers seem to be eating up and loving. And I just want to address a few thoughts on this because I've been seeing a lot of things on like social media and especially Twitter about all of these cameras coming out. I just wanted to share some thoughts on it for the entire landscape photography community. And I'll throw some specs up as we're going through some of these so you can compare and look at some of the models that are coming out. Now, this is a good thing for landscape photography. I know that like so many people are so into the camera that they have, and that's fantastic that you found a camera that you love and that you enjoy shooting with. But all these companies releasing full frame mirrorless models into the industry and on shelves so that you can buy them and use them in the field is an amazing thing for landscape photography. And the mirrorless industry right now is such a baby. It's still in baby form, and it's not really evolved yet into what we can really see where it's going. So I really want you to look at every mirrorless full frame camera when it comes out as what are they trying to push forward? Like a lot of cameras push forward their frames per second or their megapixel count or their image stabilization or speed or low light capability. Every mirrorless camera can do something a little bit different, and it's been interesting to see what each camera company or even down to camera model wants to do with that pushing the envelope. So I want you to understand this is an amazing thing for landscape photography because competition is going to push the technology even further and allow us as landscape photographers to get our hands on better gear and get better image results as a result of their competition. So keep in mind, this is an amazing thing for us as landscape photographers, and applaud when one of these companies comes out with a new camera. And that really leads me to the idea that product loyalty or brand loyalty is overall dead in photography. And it seems crazy to say that because so many people were married to their gear for so long, and their gear maker like Nikon, Canon were the two big players, and now you have Sony coming in on one side, and it's this idea of product loyalty is dying because of so many evolutions in landscape photography technology, and the use of your camera is evolving so quickly. It's almost like the idea of find a camera that works best for you and switch to that. I mean, when I first started out shooting, I was a Canon user using a Rebel T2i, I mean, just an entry-level camera, and then made the switch to Sony mirrorless because I saw what Sony was doing and the progression of technology that they had, and I wanted in on that. And it's becoming more and more easy to do that when you budget for it and when you know, okay, well, I'm gonna have to buy this camera and an adapter or a new whole set of lenses. Really think about that when you're thinking about switching to a new make. But product loyalty overall is dead. Also, you don't have to use a full frame camera to shoot landscapes. I know the whole big push right now is full frame, full frame, full frame. Like landscape photographers, when you talk to them, they're like, are you using a full frame camera? What are you using? I shoot with a crop sensor. I love using a crop sensor to shoot landscapes. That just works for me. So you don't have to buy into the idea that a full frame works for you. If it does and you want to go full frame, frame, that's awesome. I think you should, because that's what works for you. So think about what may work for you. If full frame doesn't work for you, really think about a crop sensor or kind of like a mid sensor size camera that may work for you, even like a smaller Sony or a Fujifilm if you're looking at mirrorless cameras. And the biggest question when it comes to mirrorless and really what you need to invest in or what you're looking for if you're looking to buy a new camera or get in on this mirrorless full frame craze is, what do you shoot? Like I said earlier, so many new technologies are coming out, and it's almost down to model by model of cameras and what they're trying to evolve or push forward. So really look at the specifications on each camera model and do your research, create a spreadsheet on what each spec is based on camera model, and really figure out what would work best for you. For me, I go by not sensor size, because 24 megapixels on my camera works for me right now. I go by size, weight, and speed, and that overall has worked well for me in my photography. That may be completely different for you. Maybe you are in on sensor size and you need something like the 50 megapixel full frame camera that only shoots, 8 frames per second or 6 frames per second, and you need that like crazy autofocus point count to help you get fast autofocus. That's completely opposite from my side of things. But if that's working for you, really decide on what you're shooting as a photographer and figure out what camera spec is going to be highest on your list. Don't just go by megapixel count. Don't just go by autofocus count. Really figure out what count or which numerical value is going to be best for your photography and go with that on the comparisons. So final thoughts on the full frame mirrorless craze right now and all of the cameras that are coming out and all of the technology that's evolving right now is that Sony is still seeming to dominate the market. I know Nikon and Canon have made huge buzz in recent months, as well as Panasonic saying they're coming out with a full frame mirrorless option as well. But Sony really has a firm hold right now on the market. I'm not saying that can't change, but right now the hold is so firm with so many different options in full frame mirrorless and even crop sensor mirrorless that Sony has, that really they have the options there for photographers. They have the technology and they've been in this niche in the market for a while now. So it's going to be interesting to see how Nikon and Canon continue to evolve in the mirrorless world, seeing how many different models they're going to come out with and what their devotion to lens development for mirrorless cameras is going to be as well. That's going to be the thing to watch moving forward, is how many lenses do they produce and how many models behind this are they going to produce? Are they going to be able to keep up with smaller sensor, small, light, faster cameras, full frame options, low light options, video options, all these options that Sony seems to have? Are Nikon and Canon going to evolve into that as well, and how much can they challenge Sony moving forward? So watch for those things in the coming months. If you're looking at possibly getting a new camera, if you're looking at investing in a different brand or model, really look for those things moving forward in the full frame mirrorless race, battle, fight, whatever you want to call it. Thanks so much, guys, for watching this video. If you like this video at all, hit the thumbs up button, comment below on what camera you're using as a landscape photographer so we can really see other options that we have and camera models available. Also, if you haven't already, consider subscribing to this channel. We're coming out with videos on how you can shoot better as a landscape photographer, so be in on that as well. And right now I'm going to share a playlist that you can use in the field to shoot better photos in the landscape in real time, so the next time you go out shooting, you know how to shoot these photographs a little bit better.